Hi, Trevor here, Life Reflection Requests. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on Buddy Holly and just through his life and that song That'll Be Today. We looked at how he changed music forever. So I trust you found that one encouraging. Well, the conversation was in the car just last week. And we were talking about Buddy Holly, and the guy said to me, what, the day the music died? What about the other two? And then I remembered that iconic line from the Don McLean classic American Pie, the day the music died. I thought, well, I better do the other two guys who died in that plane crash. So, request today. Ritchie Valens La Bamba was born in 1941 in the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles. Very much parents from Mexico, and that very much shaped his very short life, but incredible life. He was a pioneer of Chicano music and Latin rock, and very much it was his upbringing, his culture that actually shaped one of these songs around that time. In fact, Chicano rock is a genre that Carlos Santana actually has well and truly brought to life, and it wasn't for this guy before him, that wouldn't have been a thing quite as much. The guy we're talking about is Ritchie Valens. Ritchie was self-taught singer, guitarist, songwriter, and he was renowned for just adding new riffs and new things on the trot in his performance. So this guy was very, very accomplished and very, very talented, and really wrote amazing songs that people just had to dance to. He was signed to Delphi Records on the 27th of May 1958, and in that year there were 2 studio albums, so there we go, right at the start, 1 live album and 9 singles. Ritchie Valens was also in a film appearance, which is pretty cool, because when this kid was around, he was absolutely massive. But the world was shocked and paused on the 3rd of February 1959 when only at the age of 17, Ritchie Valens was killed in a plane crash together with the Big Bopper and Buddy Holly. Just goes to show that if you're in any place with Buddy Holly, it just shows that you had made it and you actually were on the climax pinnacle of your career, starting right there. But, you know, the thinking around the plane never should have taken off because it was a snowstorm and all the rest of it. We can get into all of that, but oh my God, what a loss to the world. In fact, Donna, who Ritchie Valens had kind of been going out with a while, had been engaged to be married to her. And one of the lines in American Pie, I remember the day I cried, I read about the widowed bride. Well, that's who we're talking about. And of course, Donna gave rise to, one of Ritchie Valens' hits. He was killed only 8 months after his career started and the signing to Delphi Records. And so you'd think a kid that hadn't been around for as long as that would have made an impact, but he actually made a massive impact, this guy. And it just goes to show that when you are in the right place and the right time, you know what your audience wants, you know what your crowd wants, you know that you're talented, you know you can do what you can do. It really is quite a compelling thing. It's quite interesting, and a few artists we've done of late, they hadn't been around for very long. Buddy Holly wasn't around for long. Other bands such as, other bands as well that haven't been around for long. They made the Doors, that's the band I was thinking of. They weren't around for that long either, but they were in the right place at the right time. And it just goes to say you don't need to have a long career to make it a bit of an impact. And it's certainly the case of the Ritchie Valens today. Ritchie was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001, and he actually does have a star on the Hollywood Hall of Fame. That was one that the fans actually organised for him, and he has a star there. So very well regarded by everyone, and very much an American treasure, well and truly. Now, of course, you can't talk about Ritchie Valens without talking about the song La Bamba. When I talk about Mexican influence and the whole Latin rock type of thing. This song is absolutely stunning for that. The band Los Lobos a little while later actually covered this song, and in their typical style did it really good as well. Off the album Ritchie Valens of 1958. Now, Rolling Stone put this as song 354 in the greatest 500 songs of all time. This song is in the Library of Congress as a culturally significant song. And when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame put out its top 500 songs, that got in there as one of those. So the clip I've got below, there isn't really a live version of Ritchie singing this one that I could actually find, but I did actually find it's when the movie came out a little bit later, called La Bamba. Lou Diamond Phillips took on the lead. And I suppose I put that clip in there as a bit of a tribute to Ritchie Valens, because it kind of just shows how incredible the crowd was and how compelling this guy was on stage. He had a bit of attitude about him, which is always a good thing. Obviously, the youth and excitement is another thing that just made Ritchie so compelling. So we've got the Lou Diamond Phillips version. We've also got a bit of a static live clip of Ritchie Valens singing the one as well. So if you want to reminisce just with a bit of a static clip, at least you hear his vocals and his audio, that one's there for you as well. And another song that Ritchie Valens did, and didn't realise this is one that he did until I looked into him. Come On, Let's Go, Let's Go, Let's Go, Little Darling. Also off the Ritchie Valens album of 1958. This is a pretty amazing clip, this one, because this is a montage of some home footage of him singing this song just in his home. And, it's very clear, even back at that point, that, there was something about him that was going to be really popular. So there's quite rare footage of him at home, with him singing this one in the background. So the links to those 3 clips are in the description below. And if you want to recap on my last video on Buddy Holly, that one's there for you as well. So thank you for the guy who suggested that I need to do the other 2 guys that died in that plane crash. And of course, we will get on to Big Bopper next time. And by the way, this is video number 300 in this series. And so who would have thought from about May 2020, we would have been into the series 300 videos later. So there we go. An absolute privilege to bring this series to the world. I obviously love music, and I just want to be able to share reflections on this music through the world. I suppose just a little bit of a thing. What can we take from the Ritchie Valens story? Well, you don't have to be old to make an impact on this world, and this is certainly what Ritchie Valens did in his short 17 years of life. So if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, or you've come back for another one, welcome to everybody, and thank you for hanging around to the end. Well, as I've already said, we're going to get on to the 3rd person in that plane crash next time, Big Bopper. So until then, I'll catch you around for video 301. So I'll catch you then. Bye for now.